Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you don't know and haven't been here before, I am Tamara Stone, aka Special Agent Tam. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Oregon City versus living in Portland. So I hope you stick around. Okay, so like I said, today we are going to be talking about the pros and cons of living in Oregon City versus living in Portland. And the first thing we're going to do is screen share and show you via Chat GPT. I'm going to do Oregon City versus Portland, living in Oregon City versus living in Portland. And here is what Chat GPT has to say. But they're both unique living experiencing, and choosing between the two depends on your own personal preferences and priorities, which obviously. And let's talk about some of these differences. I'll also impart some of my loves and likes about both living in Oregon City and living in Portland. I have lived in Oregon City off and on my entire life, as well as living in Portland. So I have a unique perspective in having been born and raised in the area, which you may not get from other people who have been transplants. So I was born and raised in Oregon City. I did move around a little bit to some other places in Oregon for very short periods of time, but ended back up in Oregon City, graduated from Oregon City High School, and then moved to Portland, graduated from Portland State, and lived in Portland for 20 plus years before moving back to Oregon City. So in a couple weeks, I will actually have been back in Oregon City for a year. And here are some of the things that I agree with and disagree with in terms of what ChatGPT has to tell you. So obviously, size and population is going to be different. Oregon City is not as diverse as Portland is. Obviously, Portland being an urban area is going to have a lot of different people. It has a lot more colleges, so you're going to have a lot of diversity there. Cost of living is higher in Portland. Oregon City is a little less expensive. I definitely agree with both of those things. But if you're looking at having the Portland amenities without having the Portland prices and being able to be close to Portland, Oregon City is a great place to look into. And there is a bit of a commute. If you've looked at some of my other videos, you'll see the maps and things that tell you the distance between Oregon City to Portland, Oregon City to the airport, things of that nature. But we do have the max. You can take the bus from Oregon City to the max in Milwaukee, and then take the max to Portland if you want to, or you can take the bus to Clackamas Town Center, and then you can catch other mass transit out there to go in different directions. So you have options there. We are not as bikeable, I would say. We're a little bit hillier than Portland is. So if you're looking for a real bikeability sort of area, we do have some trails if you're into mountain biking, and then they're doing some connected things along the waterfront here. But there is a lot of nature and outdoor activities in both Oregon City and in Portland. Festivals, farmers markets, music and movies in the park. And there's historic areas in each. So you've got the trendy living downtown in Portland and the Portland neighborhoods. There is some of that here in Oregon City too. So, it talks here about the urban versus the suburban sort of lifestyle. Yes, Portland is a much bigger city and there's much more urban sorts of things to do and see out there. But that urban development is being shown here in Oregon City as well. So what I like to talk about in Oregon City is there's kind of three different lifestyles that you can lead here in Oregon City. So the downtown area of Oregon City, close to Main Street, you can still have that really suburban sort of lifestyle where you can walk to some coffee shops and restaurants and bars and things like that. And you have neighbors who are kind of close to you. You have cute little neighborhoods where the kids can go play together. dog parks and things like that. And all of that is really close by. People are friendly in both Oregon City and Portland. I do think that Oregon City has a little slower of a lifestyle than I would say Portland does. We are the original city. We're actually known as the first city in Oregon. It's the end of the Oregon Trail. And so we were actually the first incorporated city. What is that? West of the Rocky Mountains, way back in the 1800s. So things that I love about living in Oregon City, I am at the confluence of the Clackamas River and the Willamette River. And so in terms of being able to drop your boat or your paddleboard or float on the river, you have easy access to all of those things. I love that. I love that. I'm going to be really controversial right now. Part of the reason why I moved out of Portland was to have a slower, calmer lifestyle and to have the ability for my stepdaughter to walk outside our front door and just say, hey, I'm going for a bike ride. We couldn't allow her to do that in our old neighborhood in Portland. Not to say that there aren't some neighborhoods in Portland where that is 100% available, but it just wasn't in the part of Portland that we were at. And we kind of wanted to be a little farther out, a little expanded. We have a little bit more room between us and our neighbors. And so, like I was saying, in terms of the three different lifestyles, you do have the urban lifestyle that you get when you're living closer to the downtown area of Oregon City, which also therefore means you're much closer to Portland. Then you have kind of the mid-range that's neither urban nor, and it is a little bit more suburban. So you have a little bit of space in between. This is kind of where I'm at right now. You have a little bit of space in between your neighbors. You have to travel a little bit longer distance in order to get to a freeway or a grocery store, but it's still only 10 minutes away, not that big of a deal. And then you have the country portion of Oregon City. So the farther out that you go, usually the bigger, more land that you end up with. Houses can range, anywhere from 900 square feet to 4,000, 5,000 square feet, depending on where you're at in Oregon City. Geographically, Oregon City takes up a lot of space. Oh, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can see me a little bit better. So talking about how you have your choice, really, when you move to Oregon City, whether you're interested in more of an urban lifestyle, suburban lifestyle, or country lifestyle. I'm trying to get out to take some video of some houses in the country so that you can see what you can get out there. Some of it is pretty incredible. My current dream home is by my old house, the house that I grew up in on the border of Oregon City and Malino. This one is kind of bordering Beaver Creek, Oregon City and Malino. It's in Oregon City, technically, but it's way, way out there. It is going to be more like a 30-minute drive to the downtown Oregon City area. So you're 25 minutes away from like a big grocery store or restaurants and things like that. So, you get to choose really what it is that you're interested in, what kind of lifestyle you're interested in out here. You have the ability to be closer to things like places to go motorcycle riding. We do have quite a few golf courses here, and it depends on what it is you're looking for. So I ask my clients all the time, what's your lifestyle like? Do you want to be able to come home and just grab your paddleboard and go drop into the river somewhere? Do you want to be able to just take your bicycle out of your garage and go for a nice bike ride on some greenways? Like, what is it about your lifestyle that would make you choose to want to live rurally or suburban or urban? If you want to be able to walk to coffee shops and restaurants, then we want to have you closer to the downtown area. Mojo, my dogs are incredible. If you're looking for something more like what we looked for, which was a little far out, not super far, but it feels like you are living in the country without really living in the country, being able to get in your car and get to the grocery store in 15 minutes, get to the freeway in 10 minutes, get to the airport in 30 minutes, and have the ability to still get to a coffee shop really easily. You still have really great internet out here. And you have fewer neighbors. We actually ended up purchasing in a small neighborhood that does have an active HOA. There's not a lot of those out here. And then you have some people who really want to be able to just have tons of space and want to do whatever it is they want to do with their property. You will have city ordinances, but a lot of times your neighbors feel like it's your property and you should be able to do whatever you want on your property, and they're not really going to say anything. My neighborhood, I really appreciate, there's people who love HOAs and there are people who hate HOAs. And I tell my clients this all the time. For me, what I love about our HOA is you're never going to have a neighbor in your community, in your neighborhood, that is allowed to have 7 Band-Aid cars in their driveway or on their property. You're not going to have people having an RV out front that other people are actually living in. You're not going to have people who are doing things architecturally or color-wise to their houses that will potentially affect your market value of your home. Some people want to be able to have 7 Band-Aid cars with parts all over the place, and they want to be able to paint their houses a bright pink or a bright green or a bright purple. So a lot of times an HOA would not service you very well if that's what you're looking to do. One of the things that I am disappointed in is that we can't have chickens. But if I was that upset about it, I would find somewhere else to move to. And then having the conversation with people about chickens, they're like, oh, I can totally understand. They bring a lot of vermin. They bring a lot of predators, those sorts of things. So it all depends on what is your lifestyle. How is it you want to live in your house and on your property? Let's have those conversations. And we can talk about the difference between whether you really want to be in Portland proper or whether you want to be in a suburban area outside of it, whether you want to be on the west side and the amenities over there, you want to stay on the east side and the amenities that are over here. I'm born and raised here, so I know all of the ins and outs of where are great places based on what it is you're looking for. And I have tools that I can help you make assessments for crime rates, for school ratings, all of those sorts of things. And then in terms of whether you want an HOA that is pretty lax or no HOA at all, we can figure those things out as well. I happen to love and live in Oregon City. I am a little biased about it, but I'm also biased about Portland. I love my towns. I have lived, I'm 44, not afraid to say it. And I've probably lived equal amounts in both Oregon City and in Portland. So I can see the benefits to each of them and living in each of them. And I can help you decide as to which one is best for you. I do really love Oregon City, and I hope to help as many people move here as are interested in living in this area. If you're interested in more information about what it's like to live in Oregon City, please feel free to watch additional videos of mine on this channel or reach out and ask any questions. If you're trying to move to this area, let me know. If you're interested in doing some neighborhood tours or video tours, if you don't have the ability to come out here before you make the decision, I can do that in any area around town. I can take you to the neighborhoods in Portland. I can take you to the neighborhoods in Oregon City. I can take you to neighborhoods on the west side, in Wilsonville, wherever it is that you're looking. I'm happy to help. So reach out. Thanks for listening. And I hope you enjoyed this and watch some additional videos. Have a great day.